Well, it is Thursday, the 7th of September 2023. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch and Hope TV, the station where you look and live. Thank you for tuning in. We have a packed bulletin for you. So sit back, relax, and let us get you briefed. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Let's begin. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has said that the reviewed operations at the Immigration Department are bearing fruit. Kindiki, who has now become a frequent visitor at Nyayo House, added that citizens seeking passports and other vital citizenship documents are being served with courtesy and their inquiries responded to by the members of staff. The Interior Cabinet Secretary, who interacted with citizens and staff members during his visit to Nyayo House today, said that they are determined to clear the backlog and process new applications expeditiously. The Immigration Department will receive up to 1.3 billion shillings in appropriation in aid beginning the financial year 2023-2024 to enable the acquisition of new equipment, including printers, and revamp the department's infrastructure to offer better services to citizens across the country.
We are in a better place than where we were last week. The queues are shorter, the movement is faster, but still we have a journey to travel. And therefore, much of today, we have been doing strategy with the teams here. Because as I promised, we must crack this problem. So we think we are there, we are almost there. There is still a lot of work to be done. And in fact, I have a continuation of this meeting I have had today, tomorrow from 5 a.m. As I announced last week, we have made arrangements for more equipment. The equipment has not arrived. The new equipment has not arrived. As you are aware, we must use the government procedures on procurement. And so our hands are tied to how fast we can do some things. Mainly it is management of the caseload that we have, that we are working on. And every day we are getting better and better. In fact, even in between and the 10, 11 days from now, we'll also make other administrative changes here, including the numbers of our customer care personnel, but also separate facilities for expectant mothers, mothers who are lactating, mothers of infants, and persons with disability.
President William Ruto today jetted out of the country, headed to the 13th Africa Food Systems Summit in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Ruto is among heads of states and governments attending a high-level meeting being held at the Julius Nyerere International Conference Center in Dar es Salaam. During the summit, the leaders will discuss matters food security and suitability for the African continent and world, among other issues. At the airport, Ruto was warmly received by Tanzania government officials and welcomed by dancers. The summit comes a day after Kenya concluded a successful Africa Climate Summit in Nairobi, which saw at least 17 heads of state attend.
As youth form a large segment of the African population, they too have to raise their voice in matters that affect their life. Our gathering here at the Youth Town Hall give an exclusive opportunity to listen to them. I repeat, to listen to them. As we all agree, and as already stated, it is very important to hear their concerns, challenges, and hopes, so as to enrich our discussion as we are charting the way towards improving agribusiness for the young population. It is an opportune time for our governments to engage in discussion with youth and women on barriers and bottlenecks that prevent them from embracing agriculture as a productive sector that could enable them on their lives. We could as well get to know the challenges faced by those involved in agribusiness and the proposed possible solutions.
The Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance has today launched the climate action campaign dubbed Road to COP28 Keep Your Promise campaign. The campaign will center its efforts on 5 key issues to drive its impact and accomplish its objectives. Among the areas of focus, we'll be advocating for a structured dialogue in the global stocktake to enhance climate action accountability across all stakeholders. It will also shed light on climate-related injustices committed by national and multinational corporations, emphasizing mutual accountability for these corporate climate atrocities. Here's Alice Diana with that report.
The Road to COP28 Keep Your Promise campaign has been launched ahead of the 28th session of the Conference of Parties that will be held in the UAE at Dubai Expo City from November 30th to December 12th this year. Conference of Parties COP is held every year to discuss and find solutions for climate change. The multi-country campaign launched today in Nairobi is led by young people from Africa and seeks to ride on 5 key issues to build the strategic thrust of our continent's influence and advance its campaign goals. Different speakers who spoke during the launch lauded the just concluded African Climate Summit, saying it was a success and called on elected leaders to keep their promise in terms of representing citizens' interests at global levels.
This campaign takes over from the campaign that we've just closed, which was a Climate Justice Torch campaign. But the Climate Justice Torch campaign indeed built quite substantive foundations upon which the Keep Your Promise campaign will actually ride on to moving forward.
Samson Orao, who represented the head of programs at Action Aid, said there needs to be a lot of policy and stakeholders engagement, while Venta Mugera from Africa Biodiversity Network noted that the campaign is speaking to the current issues affecting the community.
A lot of the time, discussions on climate issues have not been at the forefront of community solutions and community engagements. And Action Aid said that we want to walk this journey with you. We want to engage on this discussion with you. We want to bring the communities that are at the forefront and want to bring them to this table. Because we can't have African solutions that are not projected by Africans themselves. And we must hold our leadership accountable. We must speak about resourcing of this campaign.
The young people were also reminded that the transition to climate justice must be led by them. Pauline Marumo, a communication and advocacy officer at the Botswana Climate Change Network, advised the youth to use the resources available in advocating for climate justice, while Gideon Muya, who represented the youth, noted that financial aspects hinder the youth in achieving climate justice.
We do not want to inherit a world that is marred by the climate crisis. We don't want to be bystanders when it comes to addressing the climate crisis. We want to be active participants, and that is why myself from Botswana, I am here at the launch of this Keep the Promise campaign by the Pan-African Climate Justice Network. And my message to the youth is that do something in your space at your capacity and use all the resources which are available to you and use the networks around you. As I speak to you now, I am hosting the local conference of youth in Botswana, where we are trying to gather young people from all over the country to be able to talk about issues of climate change, climate justice, how it affects them, what can we do, and then deliver our statements to our governments and the people who we put in leadership positions.
And it's time to stop talking, and it's time to do more as youth. It's time for action. So each and every one of us, let us look at what we can adapt into our lives to achieve climate justice. So that even if, what can I say, let me not call them foreign entities, but even if the foreign entities, because one thing that hinders us as Africans and one thing that hinders us as youths is the financing aspect, the financial aspect. Yes, we will plan, yes, we will sit down, yes, we will negotiate, but as long as we do not have the money, our voices will never be heard. So let us look for ways where we can finance ourselves. Let's create frameworks where we can be able to access money for ourselves as Africans. And then we as youth and we as Africa, we will have a seat at the table.
Alice Diana, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Alice Diana, for that report. Now, moving on, First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto has officially launched the First Lady Mazingira Award, which recognizes and rewards environmental protection and conservation through creativity. The award targets learners in over 89,000 schools in all 47 counties of Kenya, creating a generation of environmentally conscious citizens. Mama Rachel Ruto stressed the importance of providing a platform for young people to voice their opinions and solutions to climate change. She added that the competition will help in the implementation of CBC as learners engage in the National Tree Restoration Campaign.
Africa is making decisions and acting against this existential threat, and Kenya has found itself at the forefront of the global discourse on climate change. This presents a remarkable opportunity for Africa to actively engage to this critical conversation. As I articulated yesterday, it is essential to acknowledge the indispensable role that women play in adaptation of climate-related measures across all nations.
Climate change is no longer a conversation behind closed doors. The effects are plain for all to see. This is why it is important for everyone to take proactive steps towards environmental stewardship. We have planted 1.149607 trees across the country. We have also established 33 mama fruit gardens in schools in Kakamega, Trans Nzoia, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi counties, and donated 5,428 seedlings to schools. At Kakamega Forest, Shikuza Block, we have planted 30,000 trees, and we are currently in the process of building 6 classrooms at Shikuza Primary School.
As we all appreciate, education is key in building knowledge and awareness about the environment and climate change, especially among learners in schools and other educational institutions. This is why, as part of the curriculum reform, we have ensured that the learning areas across the various levels of education cover topics and activities on the environment and climate change.
The National Police Service, NPS, today pitched tent in Embu to gather views from officers and members of the public across 8 counties in the eastern region on the proposed general duty uniform for police officers. The meeting was one among a series of public participation gatherings being conducted across the country by NPS with a view of collecting public views on their preferences from several design samples proposed by NPS. NPS head of logistics, Peter Ndongo, said the forums had received encouraging reception in the regions the team had visited, as it was the first time for the public to be involved in such an exercise. Speaking at Eastern Regional Police Headquarters in Mugoya area, Ndungu said all the views will be collated and thereafter presented to the appointing authority, Inspector General of Police, once the exercise is over.
Wakati wa mwanzo askari kuhusishwa kwa swala kama hili la kuchagua uniform, by kwao wanaiona ikiwa very positive. Change is inevitable. na ukiangalia hata historia ya uniform ya polisi sio mara ya mwanzo inabadilika. Ile ilikuwa inavaliwa zamani, ilikuwa ilianzia na kinyasa kwa wanaume, tukakuja patis, tukatoka hapo tukakuja ile ya zamani, na hii nguo saizi mnaona iko na changamoto zake. Hii inavaliwa saizi na sababu haikufanywa hivi tunafanya, na ndio unaona hata imekuwa vingumu hata askari wetu ku adopt. Hii nguo haina security features na si gazetted. Sasa hii tunafanya hivyo, tunaifanya na jia ukweli. Sasa kitu yote inahusu umma haiwezi kuwa ni taxpayers.
Ningependa sana nipongeze Inspector General kwa kufikiria wazo kama hilo. Nafikiri kwa jumla na kwa kawaida imekuwa jambo la kupendeza, na nafikiri sisi wote tumefurahia na tunatarajia kwamba ile product ambayo watapewa askari wetu itakuwa tumechangia kama wananchi wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
And Narok North Sub-County has registered a low turnout for Kenya Defence Forces KDF recruitment exercise that took place at Olentimama Stadium, Narok County. The senior recruitment officer, Colonel Mwangi, says Narok North Sub-County has registered a low turnout in the KDF recruitment exercise for both women and men compared to other places. Mwangi explained that the exercise commenced at 8 a.m. with security screening verification of candidates' documents, noting that most of the candidates did not come with the required documents and certificates in order. 5 male and 1 female candidate were selected successfully in the recruitment exercise that ended well.
We expected the highest turnout here in Narok, but it happened this is where we have experienced the lowest turnout, both for men and women. And even those that were able to turn out, we were able to notice that most of the candidates were not even aware of the documents that they are supposed to come with. And immediately we arrived here at 6, we were able to alert them. Some of them were able to go back and come with the documents, but it seems like there was no, the information was not able to trickle down well. We have one candidate who keep on changing his ID card. We have been able to get hold of him. Last year he was here, he was caught, he was handed over to police. And even today when we came, we met the guy. Now he have completely a new ID card with a different ID number. We have taken up that issue with the police, and we are definitely going to follow up the issue so that we are able to understand how is this guy able to procure a new ID card, because he's trying to cheat his way into to KDF.
And on that note, we take our very first break on Newswatch tonight. We have plenty more coming up after the break.
Next on Adam's Cave.
That now every day, love is not just a feeling. Now it's a commitment. It's a commitment. And if it's a commitment, it must be thought through. I hear some people say they don't want to talk about the poorer part or the sicker part. Yeah. But those are realities.
Is there one person in the world that is that's supposed to be your wife? Yeah? So that if somebody steals a star, then you're gone.
Watch Adam's Cave this Friday at 7:20 p.m.
Yesu ndiye njia.
Mtoto gani katika hii ulimwengu ameitwa Mungu mkuu?
Nasema akasema udhu billahi.
Hata leo usisema udhu billahi, tafadhali usikize.
Yesu ndiye njia. Uchambuzi wa masuala tata katika Biblia na vitabu vingine vya kidini.
No, we don't believe that Christ was crucified. Christ was taken right to heaven. by 4 angels, 4 archangels.
Kama Muhammad ndiye alikuwa wa kwanza kuleta dini ya Kiislamu.
Naam.
Na alikuja after Jesus. Sasa inawezekanaje Ibrahimu awe Muislamu, Musa awe Muislamu?
Yesu ndiye njia, jadala wa moja kwa moja kati ya walimu wa Kikristu na dini zingine.
Wanasema Mwenyezi Mungu ana mtoto. Jambo hilo wanasema limeleta jambo ambalo linachukiza.
Siri ya Mungu ambaye Mungu amejidhihirisha katika mili. Hii yote ni ukafiri.
Mmefanya makosa makubwa sana kusema kwamba Isa ibn Maryam ni Mungu wa pili na Allah ambaye ameumba mbingu na ardhi mkasema ni Mungu wa tatu.
Yesu ndiye njia. Jumamosi kuanzia saa 1:30 jioni kwenye runinga uipendayo ya Hope TV.
Ngoja kidogo.
Yesu ndiye njia.
Mtoto gani katika hii ulimwengu ameitwa Mungu mkuu?
Unasema akasema udhu billahi.
Hata leo usisema udhu billahi, tafadhali usikize.
Yesu ndiye njia. Uchambuzi wa masuala tata katika Biblia na vitabu vingine vya kidini.
Now we don't believe that Christ was crucified. Christ was taken right to heaven by 4 angels, 4 archangels.
Kama Muhammad ndiye alikuwa wa kwanza kuleta dini ya Kiislamu.
Naam.
Na alikuja after Jesus. Sasa inawezekanaje Ibrahimu awe Muislamu, Musa awe Muislamu?
Yesu ndiye njia, jadala wa moja kwa moja kati ya walimu wa Kikristu na dini zingine.
Wanasema Mwenyezi Mungu ana mtoto. Jambo hilo wanasema limeleta jambo ambalo linachukiza.
Siri ya Mungu ambaye Mungu amejidhihirisha katika mili. Hii yote ni ukafiri.
Mmefanya makosa makubwa sana kusema kwamba Isa ibn Maryam ni Mungu wa pili na Allah ambaye ameumba mbingu na ardhi mkasema ni Mungu wa tatu.
Yesu ndiye njia. Jumamosi kuanzia saa 1:30 jioni kwenye runinga uipendayo ya Hope TV.
A very warm welcome back. Now, members of the public have been urged to continue fostering a culture of holistic evangelism and disciple-making in their day-to-day life. Speaking during the 11th Global Missions Conference, CITAM Head of Digital Ministry, Reverend Kwame Rubadiri, said the aim of the conference is to foster financial, professional, and social skills in relation to biblical teachings. The 3-day conference has brought together missionaries, delegates, and various stakeholders across 25 countries globally under the theme, Yoked Together for Holistic Impact. Gloria Musimbi with more.
Life in Abundance International has held the 11th Global Mission Conference at the Catholic University East Africa in Nairobi today under the theme Yoked Together for Holistic Impact. The 3-day conference that is bringing together delegates, Christian missionaries and clerics aims to bring together stakeholders, build partnerships, and come up with holistic solutions in shaping a better world.
As the conference that, as Africa, we're the ones who are stewarding the next dispensation of the gospel. We're here to not only inform, but lead and shape what mission expansion looks like. Africa is no longer the mission field, but the mission force.
Speaking during the conference, head of CITAM Digital Ministry, Reverend Kwame Rubadiri, noted that the aim of the conference is to foster financial, professional, and social skills in relation to biblical teachings.
Our impact is only as good as it impacts the lives or changes the lives and helps the lives of people who are in the next generation or next generations. And the point of the chapter was not just to make David king, but to bring the nation of Israel under the purpose and the rule of God. So at the end of the day, we should be focused on whatever we do outliving us. That we do such a good job that people pick up on it and they do even better, they build on that, and that at the end, when it's all said and done, 3, 4, 5 generations down the line, people will say, yes, this was started by so-and-so, but now we're still reaping the benefits and the fruit of that.
Voice coach Helen Tawali, who was in attendance, challenged Kenyan youths to explore and nurture their talents and skills as a way to empower themselves, while noting that their exposure will bear great returns in the future.
If you are a youth, bado uko na miaka na nguvu, show up. You keep saying that there are no jobs, etc. Kwa kingdom, harvesters hawako, so come, show up. Volunteer so that people can see the gifting that you have. Give your time, nurture your skill. Some of these guys that I work here gave their time, and when you give your time, there's a lot that can happen. Some of those people who work in media stations, if you show up, you will learn, hata kama you're a tea girl.
Various attendees of the conference weighed in the importance of the conference and termed it as holistic and transformative.
For blessing our society.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Gloria Musimbi.
Much appreciated, Gloria Musimbi, for that report. Moving on, 15 families have been left homeless in Kilimo area, Marura location in Laikipia East Sub-County, after a fire incident razed down their house, destroying properties of unknown value. Confirming the incident, Area Chief Patrick Mahinda has said that the cause of the fire, which started at 8:15 a.m., was not immediately established. He said the 15 houses razed down by the inferno belonged to a woman identified as Pauline Wangeshi, and they all had occupants. The chief said that they were not able to salvage anything during the incident, hence called on well-wishers to intervene and help the affected families restart their lives.
Leo asubuhi kama saa 2:15 hivi tumepata ripoti ya kwamba kuna moto imetokea hapa hii area ya Kilimo. Ni ploti ambayo ni ambao iko na rooms 15 ambayo zote zilikuwa watu wanaishi ndani. Chanzo cha moto hakijajulikana, lakini kila kitu kimeshomeka, hakuna kitu kimeokolewa. Kwa hivyo tunapoongea saa hii familia 15 hawana makao na hawana kitu chochote ambacho wamebakishiwa.
Birth certificate, form za shule, kila kitu ya kazi zote zimeshomekea kwa nyumba. Kila kitu kimeshokea, hakuna kitu tumetoa hata moja. Kwa hivyo tunaomba usaidizi tu, tupate hata vile tutapata hizo ID. Bila watoto wetu watashughulikiwa, sababu hata vitabu nyingi zimeshomekea kwa nyumba. Kuna wenye walikuwa wamefukuzwa shule.
Nilitoka kwa nyumba nikiwa salama, lakini nimerudi cha mshangao, nimepata kila kitu kimeungua. Hakuna hata nguo, viatu, vitu ya kazi yote imeungua. Sasa sioni penye nitaanzia, lakini naomba wahisani wote ambao wako na moyo mkunjufu watusaidie.
Now, Jubilee-nominated MCA Alice Kering has suffered another blow after the High Court in Narok upheld the trial court's decisions of nullifying her nomination. In his ruling, Justice Francis Gikonyo said the court proved beyond reasonable doubt that the MCA was not a member of the Jubilee Party at the time she was nominated to Narok County Assembly. Gikonyo added that Kering was not a resident of Narok County nor a registered voter in the county. The court ordered that Josephine Seneyo Torome, who presented the petition in the magistrate court, be nominated to the position.
The trial court decided in favor of Josephine Torome to the extent that, one, Alice Kering was never and has never been a member of the Jubilee Party, as at the time when the nomination party list was submitted to IBC.
Yes.
Number two, the court found that it was wrong for the Jubilee Party to purport to nominate somebody else outside Narok County who was neither a voter within Narok County nor a resident of Narok County.
Ninashukuru mahakama kwa sababu mahakama imefanya kama inastahili. Mahakama wamesimama hadi dakika ya mwisho, kwa sababu wakati nilianaunsiwa nimewini ya kwanza, huyu Kering alirudisha appeal, lakini mahakama imesimama na msimamo moja. Ninasema ni asante pia kwa mahakama yetu ya Kenya. Wameonesha ya kwamba wako na msimamo na ni watu ambaye hawaegemei kwa upande wowote.
Nachukua hii fursa kabisa kwa heshima kubwa kushukuru mahakama ya Kenya. Kwa mara ya kwanza kabisa nimeanza kupata tumaini, ama wanawake wa Narok tumeanza kupata tumaini na mahakama ya Kenya. Ilikuwa kidogo imetupa wasiwasi. Kwa sasa tumeanza kuipatia max kiasi, maana leo tumeona haki imetendeka.
And Red Cross Bungoma branch chairman Ferdinand Nabiswa has asked the county government of Bungoma to intervene and save many families in the county who have been affected by jiggers and bedbugs. He has also called on the county government as well as Good Samaritans to intervene in efforts to fight the menace. According to Wycliffe Juma, a resident of Kandui constituency, who volunteered to help the families with different house materials, poverty among many families in the county is the reason for the raid.
Tumeanza na blanketi chache, lakini tukiletewa hata blanketi zingine 3 tutashukuru, kwa sababu mahitaji ni mingi na sisi uwezo wetu kama Red Cross ni mchache, uwezo wetu ni mdogo. Kwa hivyo pia leo nataka kuappeal kwa community ambao mko na chemists, hata kama mnatuchangia madawa tutashukuru. Wala ambao mko na even spray pumps, mkitusaidia, our volunteers wako, tutashukuru. Hili ni janga ambayo tunalichukulikia, lakini tungeomba wenzetu wa public health pia wakuje kwa karibu in terms of especially prescription, kubadilisha madawa hapa na pale, kwa sababu kuna ile tendency ya resistance, na hiyo pia itakuwa changamoto. Vile tu tulingangana kupambana na COVID, inatakana sasa hii mambo ya tabia nchi tuamuke. Bure tunaona kama communities wataangamia.
We want to see how we can enhance our partnerships and collaborations with other stakeholders, because as has been said today, the needs are many, and as Kenya Red Cross we may not be able to address those needs alone. So we need to seek other collaborations and partnerships, whether with churches, with other like-minded organizations, so that we can be able to see how this gap can be addressed. I think the other thing that we also need to do, and what we have been encouraging from the national level, is to continuously create and demand or provide information in terms of creating awareness, especially within the community members, so that they are educated in terms of issues on water and sanitation.
And Pan-Africa Christian University Park is launching a technical and vocational education and training TVET institution to offer competency-based diploma and certificate courses. Dubbed Park Institute of Technology and Social Studies, the institution will be based inside Park University's main campus at Roysambu, Nairobi County. Park University's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Margaret Jepkirui Muthwi, says the Park TVET institution will officially be launched on September 15th by the university's Chancellor, Bishop Callisto Odede. Our very own Dickens Luvanda held an interview with the Vice-Chancellor and filed for us the following report.
Few months after receiving a formal certificate of registration in accordance with the TVET Act 2013, Section 20, Clause 1 on May 12, 2023, the Pan-African Park University's TVET College, Park Institute of Technology and Social Studies, is set for official launch. Park University Vice-Chancellor Professor Margaret Jepkirui Muthwi says all is set for the launch on September 15th this year, an event that will be officiated by the Chancellor Bishop Callisto Odede.
One of the milestones or the things we are launching this year is the Park Institute of Technology and Social Studies. We are so excited about this because it is taken us long to prepare to have our diploma programs accredited by a reputable organization. And this time it is TVET, the TVET Authority, who have been on our campus for the last more than a year, ensuring that the courses we are launching are accredited. So we are excited that we will be launching the Technical Institute this coming Friday, the 15th of September. It will be launched and officiated by our Chancellor and friends from TVET.
Domiciled at Park University's main campus in Nairobi's Roysample constituency, Park TVET Institute will offer all competence-based diploma and certificate courses following an upsurge of the number of students who seek to pursue technical courses at the university, according to the Vice-Chancellor.
This is an opportunity for anybody who wants to be so grounded on practical skills, because that's what TVET is. It's practical skills. And with the CBC, competency-based curriculums that the country has rolled itself into, we are not waiting for the children who are in primary to arrive at university. We actually want to say the world we live in now is demanding practical skills in the courses that we take.
Already, Park University administration has laid ground for resumption of technical skills lectures at the TVET institution after availing the required infrastructure such as lecture halls, computer laboratory, library and hostels. Park University Deputy Vice-Chancellor, who is also the designate VC, Professor Dionysius Kiambi, says the launch of Park Institute of Technology and Social Studies is in line with the requirement of the Commission for University Education QE that all diploma and certificate courses be offered in middle-level colleges.
Regulator of higher education in Kenya, that is the Commission for University Education, has guided that the accreditation of certificate and diploma programs has to be done through TVET. The TVET infrastructure. And that's why we established this institute, for us to comply with the regulatory directives. It doesn't mean that our programs are very different from those that are offered through the TVET program. They are more or less the same. It's just that the TVET programs have got the advantage of practical application. They are more practical in nature. And I think that's what the market is demanding these days.
We have actually selected programs that we know when people take, they stand a very good chance of being absorbed in industry. They can be easily employable. Cybersecurity, digital journalism, computer science, banking and finance, broadcast journalism, business management, very popular with a lot of young people as they enter the market, public administration, marketing management, computer programming. We'll also have programs on counseling psychology. Already we have had a lot of students on that, and so it continues, but now under the Technical Institute. And then corporate governance, criminal justice management, human resource management, network and system administration, animation, and digital media technology.
Park University is fully owned by the Christ the Answer Ministries Sitam Church, and the current presiding bishop, Reverend Callisto Odede, is the university's chancellor. Deacon Sulvanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
So this parent calls me, Sitam, after service and says, "Young man, you do not know what you've done," because tells me that my son comes and tells me that, "Dad, I have also been struggling with ABCD. His was a mix of alcohol and pornography. And just hearing Justo on Route 104, I feel a young person like me give his testimony on how God has moved in his life. And I requested to meet the young man, and we met over coffee, became good friends. And I told him as well, listen, by me sharing does not mean, because the devil puts banana peels all over. Scripture tells us that, no weapon fashioned against you shall prosper. It doesn't say that weapons will not be fashioned. No, it says no weapon. It means weapons will be fashioned. And he will put traps all over. Right from your phone. You open Instagram, you see an image. And all of a sudden, it plays back. All those things. So that's another, because the battle is in the mind. That is why Paul says in Romans 12:1, not be conformed by the patterns of the world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of the mind. He knows it's here. The devil knows. And this guy is millions of years old. He's not our age mate. For those who remember when I used to tell like that, right? He's not your age mate. Stop saying at me, I know at I've been saved for 15 years. Dude, the devil has been in existence for millions of years. So guess what? He knows everything about you. But greater is he that is in you than he that we walked together, and I'm happy to say that he found his deliverance, and he became also a peer champion, as it is, an educator. And for me, those are some of the things that, wow, without Hope FM, I mean, really the platform of Hope FM, and as Reverend Tomboy used to tell us as well, this is a platform not for you, but God is using you. The initiative Friends of Hope is more or less like what Romans 10:17 says, that faith comes only by the hearing, and hearing through the word of God. But how will they hear if somebody does not go to tell them? Think about that Muslim brother or sister who, because of you being a friend of hope and supporting with your 100 bob or whatever it is, that in Friday evening, by chance, they listen to Yesu Njenga. And then because of you supporting and being a friend of hope, the message will reach them in Zanzibar, in Mombasa, in whatever it is. Mimi ni Rafiki Mso. I'm a friend of hope. I'm just as Zawaka. I would like for you pia ukwe Rafiki Mso.
Welcome back. Now in business, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has hailed President William Ruto for leading other African leaders to firmly declare the continent's firm stand on climate change. Speaking when he opened the 2023 Mombasa International Show, whose theme is promoting climate-smart agriculture and trade initiatives for sustainable economic growth, the Deputy President said the President had shown admirable leadership to bring together the leaders to come up with a clear position on the matter. Reading a speech on behalf of the President, the Deputy President said the government is committed to transforming agriculture from subsistence to a commercially and globally competitive industry through tailored projects under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
I'm delighted to officiate the opening of this year's Mombasa International Agricultural Show. This show provides the people of this region an invaluable opportunity not only to showcase, but also to experience and learn about the current technologies and innovations in the agricultural sector. The theme, promoting climate-smart agriculture and trade initiatives for sustainable economic growth, underscore the government's commitment in promoting innovation and technology for the growth of the agricultural sector as stipulated in the Kenya Vision 2030. This show, therefore, provides an opportunity to organizations and businesses to showcase modern technologies, products and services that are useful to make Kenya's agricultural sector competitive globally. Mombasa County aspires to improve the livelihoods of its residents through promotion of competitive agriculture and innovative research and technology, sustainable livestock and fisheries development, and growth of a viable cooperative subsector. This has seen an increase in production of major crops like maize by 38%, from 1,000 tons to 3,000 tons, and the increase in production is attributed to the following interventions implemented by the sector.
Now, there is a need to establish robust systems that will secure the data of Kenyans even as the government sets up free public Wi-Fi hotspots in markets across the country in an effort to facilitate e-commerce. John Omo, the Secretary General of African Telecommunications Union, citing WorldCoin and hacking of government systems in Kenya, says African countries have either failed to actualize the already available data protection policies or failed to put up the required data policies, a move that has left Kenya and the rest of African countries vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks. Speaking during an ICT breakfast roundtable at a Nairobi hotel dubbed Shaping the Right Skills for a Data-Driven Decision-Making Ecosystem, African Advanced Level Telecommunications Institute Director William Baraza indicated that African governments need to invest in ICT for a cyber-resilient country. The event, hosted by AFRALTI, brought together government representatives, ICT industry leaders, academia, innovators, and startups to engage in a discussion on creating better awareness on data protection.
In Kenya and indeed other African countries where I preside, we've seen a lot of issues of data management coming up. We have recently had the Malabo Convention on data protection and cybersecurity come into force, and we are seeing a lot more African governments passing data legislation, pronouncing data policy statements so that to ensure that data is managed within our borders and with our correspondents in other organizations in a much more better way than has been the case.
We basically also have systems that are secure as we train our member states to secure the systems that they provide public services like the e-citizen. We provide capacity in terms of providing platforms like laboratory test platforms where they're able to simulate situations where hackers are able to penetrate their systems. So we provide this platform where the engineers who maintain these systems can come in and test these platforms. Protection and data management is a multi-sectoral activity. It's a multi-sectoral agenda that is supposed to be taken care of by many government entities. So first, obviously, for physical entry, you have the immigration department. For virtual entry, you have the data protection office, you have the communication authority, you have the ICT authority, all this under the Ministry of ICT.
Safaricom Chapa Dimba tournament heads to Siaya and Kisii counties for the Nyanza County finals this weekend. On Saturday, Siaya County will set the stage for an electrifying opening match between Jera girls from Ugenya and VSA girls from Gem that will take place at Siaya KMTC grounds. The boys will battle it out in the afternoon with Ambira Mobimba Secondary School from Ugunja taking on St. Peter's Wagai Mixed Secondary School from Gem on Sunday. Kisii Queens will face off against Kenya's Moteiribe FC, while Small Simba will go head-to-head with their rivals Ichumi FC at Samita Grounds, Kisii County. And now to some great news for Kenyan football fans. Harambee Stars, I beg your pardon, secured a 2-1 victory over Qatar in a FIFA friendly in Doha, Qatar. James Okumu opened the score from the corner in the 20th minute. Qatari Hassan equalized in the 34th minute. The Kenyan lads showed a beautiful game throughout the match. Obiero Nondi tapped the winning goal in the stoppage time. This is the first win for Harambee Stars since the ban was lifted by FIFA in February 2023.
بيدرو لكن الضغط على بيدرو والكرة تتخلص من أمام بيدرو تعود الآن أمامية ناحية ميشيل ألونجا أخذها ألونجا أمام الزميلة في النادي يوسف لكنه مر الآن كينيا تفعلها كينيا وتسجل ثاني الأهداف كينيا.
Well, it is a big congratulations for Harambee Stars and for making Kenya proud once again. And that concludes Newswatch tonight. Thank you for watching. On behalf of the whole crew, we appreciate you. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murray. God willing, see you tomorrow night, same time and place. Have a good night.
Next on Adam's Cave.
That now every day, love is not just a feeling. Now it's a commitment. It's a commitment. And if it's a commitment, it must be thought through. I hear some people say they don't want to talk about the poorer part or the sicker part. Yeah. But those are realities.
Is there one person in the world that's supposed to be your wife? Yeah? So that if somebody steals a star, then you're gone.
Watch Adam's Cave this Friday at 7:20 p.m.